Leadership is one of the most powerful forces through business, history, and life. It determines whether organizations thrive or collapse, whether teams succeed or fail, and whether societies advance or fall into chaos. Leadership is not just about power or position, it's about influence, the vision, and the ability to inspire others toward a common goal. In business, leadership determines the culture of an organization, the engagement of its employees, and ultimately the success of the company. In politics, leadership really shapes the future of the entire nation. Even our own personal lives, leadership affects our families, our communities, and the relationships that we build. Strong leadership leads to growth and prosperity. Weak leadership leads to stagnation, dysfunction, and failure. In this video, I want to explore the science of leadership, what makes a great leader, and how leadership impacts those around us. The research is absolutely clear. Leadership is real. It's not some abstract key term thrown into presentations, if you will. It has massive consequences, and understanding it can make a huge difference in your own success and the success of the people around you. Let's talk about leadership impact. Leadership isn't just about the person in charge. It's about the performance of the entire group. A good leader elevates those around them. They work to create an environment where people thrive, where teams work together effectively, and where goals are achieved. Bad leaders, on the other hand, do the opposite. They create stress, confusion, inefficiencies, and even harm. A lot of collusion goes on behind the scenes. Think about a time when you worked under a great leader. Maybe it was a boss who inspired you to do the best work, a coach that really pushed you to achieve more than you thought was actually possible, or a mentor who really guided you through a challenging time. What did they do that made them effective? Chances are they provided clarity, motivation, and support. Now think about a time when you worked under a poor leader with poor leadership skills. Maybe it was a manager who consistently changed their mind at a whim, a supervisor who didn't listen, or a leader who created a toxic work environment. The difference between good and bad leadership isn't just a noticeable thing. No, it's transformational. See, businesses with strong leadership really perform better financially. Teams with strong leadership are more engaged, productive, and innovative. Even in a societal level, good leadership leads to prosperity and progress, while bad leadership leads to decline and disaster. Now, history is filled with great examples of both good and, of course, bad leadership. Let's look at Foday Sankoh, a leader who had intelligence, charisma, and influence. But instead of using those qualities for good, he used them to exploit people and spread misery. He made promises to reform and progress, but once he gained the power, he led with cruelty and self-interest, causing suffering for thousands of people. This is an important lesson here. Just because someone has leadership qualities doesn't mean they will use them wisely. Leadership is a tool, and like a tool, it can be used for good or for harm. On the other hand, history also gives us examples of leaders like Nelson Mandela. He too was a charismatic and influential person, but he used his leadership to unite, heal, and build a better future for the whole country. The key difference between destructive leaders and great leaders isn't intelligence, charm, or even power. It's the way they use their influence. So what actually makes a good leader? Well, what separates those who create success from those who create chaos? Decades of research have narrowed it really down to 4 essential qualities: integrity, decisiveness, and competence, not to mention the vision. Integrity is the foundation of any leader, especially their leadership. If people don't trust you, they don't want to follow you. Leaders with integrity are honest, they're transparent. They do what they say they will do. They treat people with respect. A leader without integrity might gain temporary success, but eventually their lack of trustworthiness will catch up with them. Decisiveness is another critical trait. Leadership really requires making decisions, often under pressure. And with incomplete information, a great leader doesn't hesitate when it matters. They gather the information, assess the situation, and they make a firm decision right away. Indecisiveness creates uncertainty, and uncertainty weakens a leader's influence. People look to leaders for guidance, and if a leader is unsure of themselves, their team will also be unsure. Competence is just as important. Leaders don't need to be experts in everything, no, but they do need to do good at what they do. See, competence really builds respect when people see a leader and the leader knows what they're doing. They are more willing to trust their judgment. A leader who lacks this knowledge, skill, or experience will quickly lose credibility quick. Finally, vision is one thing that really separates managers from true leaders. See, great leaders inspire others by painting a picture of the future in which they're walking into. They help people see where they are going and why it really matters. They provide direction, purpose, and motivation. Napoleon once said, "Leaders are dealers in hope." A great leader doesn't just manage people, they inspire them. But leadership isn't just about skills, it's also about personality. Research has shown that certain personality traits strongly predict leadership, especially its effectiveness. Traits like extroversion, conscientiousness, and emotional stability all contribute to strong leadership. Now, extroversion really helps leaders communicate and connect, not to mention inspire others. Now, the conscientiousness, that makes them disciplined and really focused. Emotional stability allows them to stay calm under pressure. These traits help leaders build relationships, earn that respect, and maintain control even in high-stress situations. However, there's also a dark side to leadership. Some personality traits can lead to failure. Now, research has shown in this that leaders who are arrogant, impulsive, or resistant to feedback often struggle. Many leaders don't fail because they lack strengths. They fail because they don't manage their weaknesses. See, this is why self-awareness is so critical to who you are being. If you want to be a great leader, you need to understand yourself. If you don't understand yourself, you're not going to be able to understand others. What are your strengths? Where do you struggle? Many people assume they are good leaders simply because they have a title. But leadership isn't about a title. It's about behavior, not position. So how to really develop as a leader? That's a great question. Leadership isn't just about natural talent. It's a skill that can be developed over time. Some people have a natural ability for leadership, but the best leaders are the ones who actively work to improve. If you want to become a better leader, start by focusing on qualities that matter most: integrity, decisiveness, competence, not to mention your vision. Ask yourself, do the people around you trust you? Do you make decisions with confidence? Do you have the knowledge and skills necessary to lead effectively? Do you inspire others with a clear vision of the future? Now, improving as a leader really starts with self-reflection. What do you see in the mirror? But it doesn't stop there at all. The best leaders seek feedback from others. They ask their teams, their colleagues, and mentors what they do well and where they could actually improve. They take that feedback seriously and use it to actually grow. Feedback is one of the most valuable tools for leadership, especially its development. Many people avoid it because it can be uncomfortable to hear this criticism. But the most successful leaders actively seek out constructive criticism because they understand that growth comes from learning. One of the best ways to do this is by using a 360-degree feedback, which means gathering insights from your peers, your employees, and even your superiors. This method gives a well-rounded view of your strengths and areas of improvement. If you want to take your leadership skills to the next level, start by listening to those around you. You see, trust is the foundation of any successful leader-follower relationship. And without trust, even the most talented leader will struggle to gain that loyalty and commitment from their team. To build trust, you need to be consistent in your actions. If you say you'll do something, follow through. If you make a mistake, own it. Be vulnerable. Get out there. Let people know you messed up. You recommit to it. People respect leaders who are accountable and who take responsibility for their own actions. This is an opportunity for you to be very vulnerable with yourself, with your team, and let them know that you messed up and you recommit to them. Another way to build trust is by showing that empathy. A great leader understands that their team members are not just employees. They are people with personal goals, challenges, and emotions. Taking the time to really listen to them and show concern and provide support, this really creates a strong bond between the leader and their team. See, people also trust leaders who are transparent. When leaders really communicate, especially openly, about the company goals, the team challenges, or even the personal lessons that they've learned along the way, it creates an atmosphere of honesty and reliability. Hiding information or being secretive really breeds uncertainty, and uncertainty really erodes any type of trust that you've already established. One of the most common traits of ineffective leaders is indecisiveness. A leader who hesitates too often, second guesses themselves, or avoids making tough calls altogether can really weaken an entire organization. Great leaders develop strong decision-making skills by practicing decisiveness in small situations. Instead of overanalyzing every detail, they focus on gathering the necessary information, weighing their options out, and then making a firm choice. Now, however, being decisive doesn't mean being reckless. The best leaders understand that some decisions require deep thought and careful analysis. But once they decide, they commit and move forward. Leadership is not just about managing tasks. It's about inspiring people. One of the most defining characteristics of a great leader is the ability to motivate others to really believe in something bigger than themselves. People want to feel like their work really matters. They want to be part of something meaningful. A strong leader provides purpose and direction. Whether it's a CEO leading a company toward innovation, a coach inspiring their team to victory, or a teacher empowering students to reach their potential, great leaders make people feel that they are part of something important. One way leaders do this is through storytelling. Instead of just giving orders, great leaders tell compelling stories about why their vision really matters. They share experiences, struggles, and triumphs that really make the goal feel real and achievable. Here's an example. Steve Jobs just didn't tell Apple employees to build computers. He painted a vision of changing the world through technology. That vision inspired innovation and creativity, leading to one of the most successful companies in history. Every leader faces challenges and setbacks. The difference between successful and unsuccessful leaders is how they respond to those challenges. One of the biggest obstacles leaders face is resistance to change. People often fear change, even when it's necessary. A great leader understands this and knows how to guide people through change, but communicating the benefits, addressing concerns, and leading by example. Another common challenge is handling difficult people. Whether it's a team member who is really unmotivated, a colleague who consistently criticizes, or a supervisor who is hard to please. Leaders must develop the ability to manage these relationships, especially effectively. This requires patience, emotional intelligence, and the ability to set clear expectations. One of the most difficult challenges in leadership is making unpopular decisions. Sometimes leaders must make tough calls that not everyone will like. In these situations, clarity and confidence are key. A great leader explains the reasoning behind their decision. listens to the concerns, but ultimately stands by what they believe is right for the team or the organization. Becoming a great leader isn't just about learning skills, it's about developing the right mindset. One of the most important leadership mindsets is growth-oriented thinking. Great leaders are always learning. They read books, they attend seminars, they seek mentors, and constantly look for ways to improve. A growth mindset also means embracing these failures as learning opportunities. Every leader will make mistakes. The difference between great leaders and average leaders are that great leaders really learn from their failures instead of just fearing them. Another key leadership mindset is servant leadership. And this is my leadership style. The best leaders don't just focus on their own success, they focus on helping others succeed as well. They view leadership as a responsibility, not just a position of power. They mentor, support, and develop the people that are around them. Now finally, a great leadership mindset includes resilience. Leadership is not easy. Trust me. There will be setbacks. There will be criticism. People will hate you from time to time. And difficult moments will come by you. It's how you deal with them and not fear them. But the best leaders keep going. Even when things are tough, they stay committed to their vision and push through obstacles with determination. The research makes it really crystal clear. Leadership isn't just about the leader, it's about the people that they lead. The best leaders don't just succeed, they help others succeed as well. They create strong teams, they build great organizations, and they leave things better than they found them. So the real question is, how will you apply this in your own life? Are you the kind of leader who inspires trust? Do you make decisions with confidence? Are you consistently learning and improving? And most importantly, how are you using your leadership to help those around you right now? Leadership is not about waiting for permission. It's not about waiting until you have the perfect title. It's about taking action right now in whatever capacity you can. If you're a business owner, lead your team with integrity. If you're in sales, inspire trust in your clients. If you're an employee, take the initiative and set an example. Leadership is about influence, and everyone has the ability to influence those around them. Now, I want to hear from you. What do you think is the most important leadership trait? Drop a comment down below and let's start a conversation. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my profile for more insights on leadership and success. Together, we can work toward elevating humanity, one post, one step, and one leader at a time.